and welcome to another edition of Viewpoint. I'm your host, Rich Haskell, and this weekend, some familiar faces around the table. This is I think the third time that we here at the radio station have been involved celebrating Zoes Race. They are celebrating 5 years of making homes accessible with a big event happening next weekend. That's Sunday, August 25th over at Oak Ledge in Burlington. And in studio, we have Kathy Biscaglia from the Howard Center and the Zoes Race coordinator. Hello, Kathy.
Hello.
And we've got Erica Nestor, who is mom of Zoe and Zoe's race coordinator as well. Hi, Erica.
Good morning.
Welcome back. And Jim Charbonneau, who is a recent Zoe's Race Grant recipient. Hey, Jim.
Good morning, Rich.
I think we've got everybody in the right place, and we're ready to go. So Zoe's Race, unbelievable. I'm going to start with Erica. Did you ever see these kind of events have a shelf life, and a lot of times the shelf life is about a year or two. And usually if you can get past that first year and have a lot of success, then it takes off. And clearly Zoe's Race has taken off.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful event. And I have to thank Kathy, who's sitting right here beside me, because when we started this, there was quite a few people who said, you can't do this. There's so many races out there. And it's just, it's already, there's too many. And Kathy was so wonderful and saying, no, we can do this. And got some really talented folks around the table to put this race together. And it's been exactly what I wanted it to be. It's so much fun. I mean, it is a fun day with kids and adults and entertainment and a ridiculous amount of food, which, of course, is why it's so successful.
Well, if you're going to go 5K. Then
yeah. We have more food there than a marathon race has.
Well, for a lot of people, this is like a marathon. I mean, let's face it. It's a great event, and we call it Zoe's Race. But the last thing it is a race.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. It's a 1K for children that any child can participate in. And I'm really proud of that the 1K, it's just, we have children in wheelchairs, adapted bikes, little ones that are running with their parents for the first time. So that's wonderful. And then the 5K, there are runners, absolutely. And it's a chip timing and bibs. But there's also a lot of folks who come and walk it, and that's perfectly fine, too.
Right. The ability of running doesn't matter so much as being there.
Exactly.
Yeah. And, of course, it'll be a sunny, perfect day. Right?
Of course.
Yes. It always has been.
Yeah, I know. You guys, as it seems to me, to the ones I've been, it's been absolutely beautiful. And that's pretty shocking when you think about it.
Don't talk about the weather.
Well, it's an absolutely great event. And first of all, let's talk about Zoe.
Sure. So this race is really inspired by my family needing to remodel our house. My daughter Zoe, who is now 10 years old, when she was a year and a half, had a near drowning accident in our backyard, which goes without saying how traumatic that was. And she was very young at the time. We live in a house that had stairs in the front way, stairs through the garage, and so we needed to remodel. And took our time getting there, but it was shocking how expensive it is, and there really isn't that much help available for families looking to remodel around accessibility. And so it was a need, and it was a great place for me to put my time and energy in a really positive way. And so came up with the race, and Kathy and I kind of hit the ground running 5 years ago, and it's been absolutely wonderful what we've been able to do. And it was exactly what I wanted, was to raise money and spend it right away.
Right.
And so every year we've raised money from a race and we've completely spent it. And we've also been able to do probably 3 times the amount of homes, because everyone that participates in Zoe's Race, we're being given the posters, and Boloco's donating burritos, and Ben & Jerry's is donating ice cream. We don't really have to pay for anything with this race. We can raise the money and then spend it in the community.
Talk about some of the specifics about some of the challenges with Zoe as far as things that you needed to change around the house.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. There's the obvious things like the bathroom and the stairs getting in and out of the house. But inside, we had a lot of doorways in our house, kind of a traditional colonial home. And every day trying to get over the little the thresholds in the doorways. And Zoe would hit the side of the door frame, probably 10, 12 times a day. And it's surprising, but it takes a toll. And so the remodeling was done. The doorways were wide and the floors are all very smooth for the wheelchair. There's a lot of space in the house now, and getting in and out of the house is not difficult. And the bathrooms are set up for her so we can shower her easily. And what a world of difference. And that's what I wanted to do for other families. It makes such a difference for your quality of life day to day.
And you learn a lot, obviously, in a situation like you had, but you learn a lot of physics, too, don't you? Involving wheelchairs.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty amazing. Angles and things like that. It just things you never thought you'd even have to think about.
Absolutely.
So, Kathy, you are with the Howard Center. How did the Howard Center, obviously you got on board right from the start, being this is your 5th year involved as well.
It is, right. And, Howard Center has a history of serving families and meeting the needs of children in our community. And when Erica came to me with her idea, it was right in keeping with our mission. And so it didn't take much to get me on board with this idea. And Howard Center jumped right in and made this happen.
What are some of the things you did to get involved?
Well, right off the bat, we formed a committee of people who were willing to volunteer their time. Again, it goes back to we want to make sure that all the funds that get raised through this race go back into the mission of making homes accessible. And so we put together a race committee team of volunteers, some Howard Center staff, some community members, really from the running community primarily, to come together and identify resources in the community where we could get things done, get donations, get posters printed, get food donated, whatever we could get from people. And it was remarkable. I think our initial committee were 8 people, and the contacts that we made through those people was really impressive.
Do you find after 5 or now into your 5th year that it becomes easier or harder to get donations and help from the community? I'm just interested because I've been involved in a couple of things where I found it to become a little more difficult as time goes on. But now you have that sort of event recognition.
Right, it's true. And I think there are so many different entities competing for donations that it can be really hard. Although I think the mission of Zoes Race is so focused and that we have made a noticeable difference in the lives of, 9 families in our local community to date, and that both sponsors and people who run the race and raise money for us have very tangible things to look at to say, like, I help make a difference. So for that reason, I think it's been easier for us to sort of maintain the enthusiasm around our event and bring people on board.
Yeah, it's an incredibly uplifting, positive event. I've been to it a couple of times and I don't know if it's the 1,000 pounds of food that everybody gets or what it is, but it's just one of those it sort of stands out. I go to a lot of these kind of different 5Ks and so forth, but this is a very festive, happy event out of situations in a lot of cases that aren't happy at all.
That's right.
It's very impressive.
I think we have Waldo and Woodhead there that
helps.
And the Hokum brothers, and there's the very fun, positive music. It's almost like a small fair atmosphere. And I would say that the race has definitely at this point earned name recognition. People have heard of it. And so in terms of sponsorship, I think it has gotten a little bit easier just with the name recognition and the media attention that we've received.
Zoes Race celebrating 5 years of making homes accessible. Again, it's happening next Sunday. That's the 25th at Oakledge Park. Pretty much all of it, except for a lot of the race itself, is centered right at Oakledge. So it's sort of a one-stop shopping, if you will, as far as you don't have to do a whole lot. It's right there. It starts the fun run, the 1K fun run for the kids. Help me out here, but I think it starts at 9:30. Correct? And then the 5K, the walk, run, and so forth starts at 10. Registration begins at 8:30. And I guess for these kind of events, as they get bigger and bigger, the earlier you get there, the better for all concerned.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, Jim Charbonneau, you are somebody that is a grant recipient. Tell us about your experience.
Definitely. A couple of years ago, I hadn't heard of Zoes Race until I saw them in a magazine at the airport. Huh? And my daughter, Sierra, she was born with a condition called Zellweger syndrome. She's legally blind, she's deaf, and she has very low muscle tone, so she can't get around very well, although she tries her hardest. which causes some of the problems. And about a year after I had first heard of Zoes Race, we moved into a home, beautiful home, but it had these very beautiful but somewhat dangerous wood floors. And among other things, last summer she actually broke her jaw just falling down onto the wooden floor. And she's constantly trying to pull herself up and constantly falling down. So we needed to try and make things safer. And I got in contact with the Howard Center and Zoes Race, and Erica and Kathy and some others immediately came out to see what we needed and what they could do to help. And I'd say from start to finish, it was no more than a month or two. And we got our television up out of the way so she couldn't pull herself up and fall on that. Where her traffic is, we got it carpeted. It's a nice soft carpeting. It allows her to be safer. It allows us to give her a little more independence because we don't have to be right on her, touching her, holding her up all the time. Gives her a chance to be a kid and have some more fun.
Right.
And they also put up a big gate because she likes to climb on the kitchen chairs. So the gate that we had put up caused its own little danger. So they were able to get someone who built a beautiful wooden entranceway, and she still likes that, but it's much safer for her. I'm just amazed at how quickly and how energetic they were at putting everything together, and what a wonderful charity this is, because it's just things that it would have taken us years to put together the money to do this ourselves. And
the people from the outside, if you will, don't even think about things like what type of flooring you have or anything like that. It's amazing. So you were in touch with them, and how long was it between the time that you got in touch with them and everything was done?
Well, I'd say from the first time I contacted the Howard Center, it was right about the time they were getting things together for this year. So I'd say it was about a month until we were able to become a recipient family, and then I'd say no more than 2 months after that before the flooring's in, the wall's up, everything was done.
Were you kind of at the point where, what are we going to do here? I mean, backs against the wall, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you don't want... She is a very determined little girl, even though upright isn't the best situation for her. That's what she wants to do, and it's. I won't say that it was scary, but it was a constant battle, and this has allowed us a lot more freedom, and it's so much more relaxing now, and it lets her have more fun, which is the big thing, and still be safe.
Erica or Kathy, either of you could take this, but talk about the process. How does this all start? They come and they say, this is what, someone like Jim comes and says, this is what we need. Is there any way you can help? Do you meet with architects? Who do you meet with?
Well, again, the process is like Jim read about us, and right. I received an email from Jim, and he told me his story and said, I want to make an application. Am I eligible? And we try to make it really easy for families. And his timing was perfect because we were, as he said, looking at who our this year's recipients were going to be. And so we have a committee of folks that look at the applications that come in. And part of that committee is Chris Brown, who was in your studio with us last year, who is an architect who has been with us since the beginning of Zoes Race. And so Chris... single-handedly has done every home that we have helped. So the 9 homes Chris has been involved in with going out, looking at the home, making a recommendation for a plan. And then we bring in our builders who also, volunteer their time to do these jobs. So the process is pretty simple. Erica and I go out with Chris and look at what the needs are and come up with a plan and then present it to the family along with a timeline, and then we're off and running.
It must be incredible to get together, especially after the project is completed, for all of you to get together and just have sort of a big group hug. I mean, that must be a very satisfying feeling for all concerned.
Oh, yeah, it's such a joy, the whole thing, to have this vision and then to see it taking place in 9 homes. I mean, it's incredible.
Well, we want to find out more about some of the other homes. Obviously, you heard Jim's story, but we'll continue our conversation in just a moment. What is the website to go for as far as the race goes? Do you go to the Howard Center website?
You can either go to the Howard Center website or you can go to zoesrace.com. Either one will get you to registration for Zoes Race.
Okay, Zoes Race is ZOES, by the way. So we're talking with Kathy Biscaglia, Erica Nestor, and Jim Charbonneau, all involved with Zoes Race. Again, the date is Sunday, the 25th at Oakledge Park. Sunny and 75. I can't wait. We'll continue our conversation in just a moment here on Viewpoint.
Selective Service presents easy ways to stay out of trouble.
If something smells like feet, don't eat it.
And here's the easiest way of all to stay out of trouble. When a guy turns 18, he should register with Selective Service at sss.gov. It only takes a minute, and it's the law.
Army Specialist Lance Gieselman was paralyzed when his tank was blown up in Iraq. Paralyzed Veterans of America is dedicated to ensuring our injured veterans get all the benefits they've earned and need. If you would like to help our veterans, visit pva.org, a public service of Paralyzed Veterans of America.
A glorious weekend of weather headed our way with lots of sunshine for today. High temperatures around the Champlain Valley reach 80 degrees. We'll stay mostly clear tonight. Temperatures get back to about 57 by morning. Then mostly sunny again on Sunday. We do it all over with light winds and low humidity. Highs a few degrees warmer than what we'll see today, 82 degrees. I'm Fox 44 and ABC 22 meteorologist Michael Page on 960 The Zone, All Sports.
Welcome back to our second half. Great conversation. We've had this conversation a couple of years in a row. It's just so good to have everybody back here as we talk about Zoes Race. They're celebrating 5 years of making homes accessible, including Jim Charbonneau. We've had a chance to talk with him. He is in studio, along with Kathy Biscaglia from the Howard Center and Erica Nestor, who is Zoe's mom. And they are talking about an event that's taking place this Sunday, or next Sunday, I should say, August 25th. At Oakledge Park in Burlington. Erica, talk about some of the things as far as you have a lot of prizes. You talked about all the food and things like that, but what are some incentives for people to sign up, and how can they go about doing it?
Well, we're very much trying to encourage pre-registration for the race, and so if you register online by Monday, August 19th, you'll receive a T-shirt, and these T-shirts are absolutely gorgeous. They're running shirts, so they're tech tee, but they're heathered, lime green for the runners, and they're beautiful. And so you're going to want one. So I highly, highly encourage pre-registering at zoesrace.com. They will be available for sale, though, if you can't get to that. So there'll be some there.
Lime green.
Lime green. They're really nice. And I've actually run in one, and it's wonderful to run in. It's a good running shirt.
Well, running shirts are always peach or some crazy off color. So lime green fits right in.
Well, you won't get hit by a car.
That's for sure. So obviously early registration important, and again, only till Monday, this
Correct.
Monday. So you have to do that right away. And how do people get in touch again or get involved?
In terms of registering for the race, it's quite simple. You can go to zoesrace.com, hit the green registration button. And
is that lime green?
Lime green.
Yes.
We have a theme going here, and it'll take you right to the First Giving webpage. If you don't want to run, but you would like to contribute somehow to Zoes Race, you can also hit that registration button. It'll take you to the First Giving page, and you can contribute to the fundraisers. That'll be right there on the homepage. So Jim has a fundraising page. We're actually offering an iPad mini to the top fundraiser, not the winner of the race, but whoever raises the most money, as that's really our focus.
No, and that's too bad for Jim because he was planning on winning the race. So.
Well, now I still have a chance. You think 40 Minutes is going to win it this year?
I have no idea. It's never won it for me because that's about what it takes me too. But Jim, talk about your website, your web page, and how people can access you as far as, and to follow your plight, if you will.
Well, just like Erica said, if you go to the registration page, there's a list of all the teams and individuals who have pages created, and you can just click on one of their pages and donate. Of course, you're welcome to donate to my page. Kathy and Erica and several other people have their own pages, so...
And people get creative with teams, don't they? I mean, sometimes you'll see people wearing costumes and talk about sort of the camaraderie of this whole thing and how people do these crazy things just to make it even more fun.
Well, Kathy, do you want to talk about the firefighter last year? That was pretty crazy.
We do have creative people who run Zoes Race. Last year, we had a Howard Center staff who's also a firefighter who challenged folks on his fundraising page, if they raised a certain amount of money, that he would run in his full firefighting uniform, including a tank and respirator, which he ended up doing, which was pretty impressive. He ran the entire race in fireman outfit with the respirator and the whole deal. It was kind of a hot day, too. I was a little worried about him, but he did make it, and in pretty good time as well. We also have an annual bunny rabbit that runs the race.
Yep. That's a former professor of mine at UVM. This man is brilliant, and he comes to the race every year as an Easter bunny.
He's brilliant, and he's in an Easter bunny costume running 3.1 miles.
Right. And on these hot days, I'm always so grateful that the EMTs are there. We've never really needed them, but I'm always glad that they're there.
Okay. Go ahead.
We do have a water station at the turnaround for those people in heavy costumes.
So talk about where the course goes. It starts at Oak Ledge and I assume heads towards the city?
Correct.
Along the beach?
It's all along the bike path, pretty much entirely along the water. It's a beautiful, beautiful course, and out and back.
Yeah. So it goes to about Perkins Pier and turns around. Maybe not that far.
Just shy of that.
Yeah.
And they fixed it up beautifully. I'll tell you, they've done a great job. I run that path many times, and it used to be a mess. They've really done a great job on it. So.
Burlington's been working on the bike path, and they've made a lot of improvements.
It's getting there. Mile 4.5. Anyway, Jim, we sort of touched upon your training and the fundraising and stuff, but talk about, have you been out training for this, or how do you prepare for a 5K? Are you an elite marathoner that's just kind of setting back to a 5K now?
I'm an elite marathon watcher when they're on TV. That's about it. I play a lot of ball during the summer. That's about the extent of my exercise. The last few weeks, I've just been out running, trying to see if I can get through 5K somehow. And so far, so good. No, I'm still upright at the end of the day, so that's something. But I definitely I don't know if training's the correct word or not. But getting out
sore.
Yes,
yeah,
always.
We know how that is. So just talk a little bit about, we talked about Jim's situation, but talk about some of the other beneficiaries, if you will, of Zoes Race and some of the specific things that have been done.
Okay. As Erica mentioned, what typically comes to mind for people around accessibility are entrances in and out of homes and bathrooms. And primarily that is what we have done for families. As we've mentioned, we've done 9 homes. Many of them have been homes that have had stairs to enter, where we have put ramps in and made bathrooms accessible. Many families have sort of the traditional sort of first floor bathroom, which has, a tiny tub and toilet and sink kind of all crammed into a small space. Which makes it impossible to bring a child with a wheelchair into that space. And so, together with Chris Brown, our architect, we have come up with creative ways to utilize space in families' homes to make their bathrooms bigger, take out traditional tubs and put in a roll-in shower where a child can be rolled right in their shower chair. To raise up toilets, to make sinks accessible where a wheelchair can roll under. We've also had a situation last year where we helped a family whose child was sleeping in what was a dining room because they couldn't get him up and down the stairs, and we were able to modify their home to turn that room into a more private bedroom for that young man.
Chris Brown sounds like an absolute saint.
Chris Brown, actually, I do have to put a plug in. He was pulled into this because he remodeled my home. And he is, just as an architect, he is absolutely wonderful because he's this combination of, he has really, really wonderful ideas, but he is a good listener. And so I had met with a few other architects before Chris, and they all came in with what they wanted to do. and didn't really hear what my vision was for my house and my family and my daughter. And Chris really listens. And I have to be honest, as much as these situations sound similar, every family's needs are quite different. We have the accessibility piece in common. But like what Jim needed for his daughter and what I need for my daughter are pretty dramatically different. And that's great. And that's what I love about working with Chris is he takes each situation into account, and we're able to do what's right for the child and what's right for the family. And that has a lot to do with his intelligence and expertise.
We spent a fair amount of time discussing what we wanted to do and putting something together, and it was very tailored towards, well, like you said, our vision of what we wanted for the house. He wasn't trying to push anything on us. He wanted to see what it was we wanted and work towards getting that.
Did you ever see a fifth annual Zoes Race coming at year number 1? Was this just sort of that sort of popped into your head as an idea, but you just said, well, this is a one-off and let's make it that way? Or were you looking to the future the first year?
We were thinking big right from the beginning, Rich.
Okay.
I'm still thinking big. I really would love to see this take off sort of like Habitat for Humanity. Mm-hmm. I would love to see it grow in that sense of other communities taking this on and being able to replicate what we've done here, because it really is, it's local. It's people locally helping their neighbors, essentially. And I'd love to see that, take off.
There's just so many great events. I mean, you talk about all the different 5Ks and the Dragon Heart thing, and it's amazing how much giving there is around this town. And I know it's probably that way around America, but it seems like they have more creative ways around here of doing things. The giant pumpkin regatta.
Oh, I love that.
But Burlington, Vermont, would that happen? And it's incredible. And about the creative way. You have to get creative when it comes to fundraising, don't you?
Absolutely. And fun. I think it's really important that, it's the work that we're doing. It's very serious, but at the end of the day, if you're not having fun, why do it?
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of fun involved in this. Again, Sunday, August 25th, it's the 5th annual Zoes Race. 5 years of making homes accessible. Again, the websites, we've got about 45 seconds here. Where can people give? And, what's the best place to get in touch with you folks?
So howardcenter.org or zoesrace.com.
All right. I'll see you there next Sunday, the 25th at Oakledge. Again, a sunny, beautiful day for all. Doesn't have to be sunny. We're all going to be there anyway.
That's right.
So great.
That's right.
Thank you very much for your time, all three of you.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. Kathy Biscaglia, Erica Nestor, Jim Charbonneau, Zoes Race. Again, happening 5th annual, Sunday, August 25th at Oakledge Park in Burlington. The 1K fun run starts at 9:30 a.m. The 5K starts at 10 a.m. The walk run starts. The 5K walk run is at 10 a.m. Got you confused? Just show up around 8:30. We'll tell you. We'll take it from there. Have a good weekend, everybody. Thanks for listening.